Alright, you know what I do and you know why I do it. Last year I talked about horror cartoons for kids, but now I want to widen my net a little bit and talk about horror animation in general. From shows to feature-length films, there's plenty of good stuff waiting for you as long as you're willing to go into the dark and take it. I'm your host and next of kin, D'Angelo Edwards, and this time I'm taking my hat off to the chilling world of animated horror.
Greetings, everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
What is this about?
Pronouncing your sentences.
To start with, let's take a look at To Your Last Death, a 2019 movie I found on Tubi. You know, Tubi. Everyone's heard their motto. If it's not on Netflix, Hulu, Prime, HBO Max, Apple TV, Disney Plus, Peacock, Crackle, or Paramount, it's on Tubi.
Did you make some of those up?
We truly live in a hellscape. But I was actually pleasantly surprised by this movie. Well, kind of. Let's get into it. To Your Last Death starts off as a lone woman walks out of a building, clutching an axe and covered in blood. And yeah, I had the same thought all of you are probably having right now. What's so weird about that? But the police arrest her for some reason, and we find out that Miriam, the axe girl, and her siblings were forced into a collection of death traps by their own father. And with everyone else dead now, and her with a history of mental instability, Miriam is the only one left to take the blame. But she is approached by a strange woman that only she can see, who puts a strange mark on her hand and tells her, if she wants another shot at this, she only has to access the mark, and she'll be sent back 24 hours in the past. But this time, she knows everything that's going to happen. Or does she? She's given 3 rules, and with that, the night of violence begins anew.
Rule number 1. You must and will provide amusement. Rule number 2. My associates can stop the game or ask for a replay at any time. Rule number 3. I may interfere at my own discretion to keep the game interesting.
Alright, so first things first, because I can't ignore it. Yes, this movie looks cheap. And if I'm being honest, I don't really like how it looks at all. Like, it's not terrible, but it's very lower-end indie comic. Like something you might see crammed behind Fable and Saga. The colors are also very mid-2000s DVD cover, and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Its animation isn't really anything special either. Basic rigs, not too many crazy angles, though there are some shots I like where it goes black and white. Also, the blood and gore that this thing shows can get crazy. Squeamish people should probably stay away. Now, you guys know me, I love limited animation. But you gotta make sure your style is appealing enough that it can carry the lack of movement. If this thing had gone for a more monochromatic color scheme, maybe black and white with a few pops of colors here and there, think something like Sin City, I think that could have helped it a lot. Because the subpar animation is really holding back a pretty interesting story. Seeing Miriam go through the same night reliving her past traumas can be thrilling. And because of the aforementioned rules, even when she thinks things are going her way, if one of the peeps watching think it's boring,
We decline.
back to square one. It's cool, it's like Saw meets the Twilight Zone. I really like just how much of a piece of crap Miriam's dad is too. He just really hates his kids. And to be fair, I kind of get it. They all kinda suck. You don't want them to survive because of their personalities. It's mostly because you don't want to see Miriam locked up. So while the look of this movie might hold you back, I think it's worth watching for the crazy story. And they do set it up for a sequel, which means there's always room for improvement. If the sequel does happen, I'm sure it'll be a bloody good time.
I've been 10 years old for 300 years, and for 300 years I've been bored stiff. I'm fed up with being stuck in here.
You can't say that.
I don't care. I'm leaving this house.
Next up on the list we have Petite Vampire, or Little Vampire. a 2020 French production based on a series with a pretty long history. It started as a comic series back in 1999, and has since been adapted into short stories, novels, and even the TV series. Not to be confused with The Little Vampire, which was also based on a series of children's books that went on to have a TV series, live action movie, and animated movie. The fact that this happened with both Little Vampire and Dennis the Menace is hilarious, and proves that humanity is really just a bunch of different parts of a whole idiot. But anyway, Little Vampire deals with the story of a young vampire making friends with a human boy, all while trying to remain hidden from the Gibbous, a crazed villain who wants to marry his mom. Hey, wait a minute, that's just... Instead of being actually scary, this is more so just a really fun kids movie. I love seeing all the different monsters and designs. One of the main characters is Little Vampire's stepdad, the Captain of the Dead, who just has this giant freaking hat for no reason whatsoever. And it is glorious. Then you have all the other monsters, skeletons, ghosts, and it's just so much creativity on screen. Then we have Little Vampire's mom, who... yeah, I think she's neat. It really is just a fun story full of stuff that kids, and me, love. Monsters, sword fights, pirates, the works. There's also some bits I really like how the captain's ship is sentient, and kind of has a rivalry with the mom. I mean, I get it. Life is rough when you have to watch the man you love with another woman, and the only thing you can do is float around, your body covered with semen. The animation quality is also really high. Really vivid colors and fluid motion, definitely a feast for the eyes. I feel like they had to use their budget where it counts though. There's a dream sequence in there that you could call an artistic liberty, but it's definitely just an animatic, don't lie. This movie isn't perfect though. I feel like it moves a little too fast and the ending just kinda comes out of nowhere. I also would have liked to have spent a bit more time with the villain. With such a fun design, I think they could have gotten a lot more out of him. Maybe he's more fleshed out in the cartoon, but all in all, I feel like this is something that could go on to be an instant classic for the season. So put it on for some feel-good Halloween fun. Or just watch it for the mom, I won't judge.
You can't let the Moonface get away with your girl!
It's not going to happen. All hands on deck.
Let's move on to some smaller treats. Life isn't all about king-size candy bars, and sometimes good things come in small packages. First off, we have The Sandman, a short film created in 1991 by Paul Barry, best known for his work on Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach, and you can really see that here. Although this work stands on its own. Now we're starting to get into some creepy territory. The Sandman takes us into a surreal nightmare world, where going to sleep becomes one of the scariest things you can do. In only 9 short minutes, we're treated to a terrifying version of the usually friendly Sandman. I love the way this thing looks, man. You can tell it was influenced by German Expressionism. The way everything is bent weird and the fact that the shadows are actually painted on the walls, it's jaw-dropping. If you've ever seen The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is widely considered to be one of the best works of German Expressionism, you know exactly what I mean. This is a twisted, unfriendly world. I love how the Sandman is portrayed, sharp and menacing, and besides that, he's a cheeky little prick. He's not sneaking around, he's slamming doors and making the stairs creak. He wants you to know he's coming for you, cause what are you gonna do? This short is just another reason why stop motion will always be one of the best mediums for horror. It was even nominated for an Oscar. Make sure to give this one a watch, and maybe try not to fall asleep while watching it.
Hats off.
Hey guys, D'Angelo here. Just letting you guys know that the channel's going to be taking some big new steps. 2 new shows will be starting. OV Appreciation, where I'll be talking about all the weird OVAs I've seen, and Missing in Action, where I'll be giving some love to some action cartoons I think have fallen by the wayside. So we're launching a Patreon. We're also launching some new shirts. You'll be able to find the link in the description. Remember, every dollar I get is a bullet my intern doesn't get. Please buy the shirts. My bad.
Hats off.
Humilde, pero hermosa.
Another bite-sized dose of horror is Phantasmagorius, a mini-series that premiered in 2017. And when I say mini-series, I mean mini. Each episode is less than 3 minutes long, so with 14 episodes, you can finish it all in less than an hour, and it's definitely worth the time. Each one tells the story of a different Mexican urban legend, from the Curse of La Llorona to the Chupacabra.
I believe it's pronounced Chupamaflabla.
The stories themselves are cool and creepy, but it's the art direction that really sells it. I love it so much, it's so stylized and iconic. Every character is presented in shades of black and white, with everything accented by a deep magenta color. It instantly sets the mood and gets you ready to be scared. Like, I could go on and on about how much I love how it looks. CGI doesn't all have to look the same, and this is a great example of pushing the medium. Also, I love any anthology series that has a creepy narrator. Also helps that this one is completely unhinged. You can watch all of it right now on HBO Max, so do yourself a favor and experience its unique cultural horror.
Do you remember the way life used to be? It all happened in an instant.
Alright, there's a lot more I could talk about, but I might revisit this topic in a future video. So for now, I want to talk about my favorite movie I watched for this video. Bird Boy: The Forgotten Children. Every so often you see a movie that really affects you, and I can definitely add this one to the list. Beautiful, atmospheric, chilling, and depressing, Bird Boy is a story about dealing with your own personal demons, told through the lens of a somber coming-of-age story. We follow a group of characters who are broken, whether they know it or not, and we watch them all struggle with not only their own problems, but the ones that a cruel world has thrust upon them, wrapped up in a style that I can only describe as Animal Crossing meets Edgar Allan Poe. Even during the more bright scenes, there's always something off. Like, one of the main characters, Dinky, has a stepdad who, in a world of animals, looks strangely human, and they never touch on it. It's just another strange thing that exists in this world to put you on edge. Certain things are sentient that normally wouldn't be. The police are just way too excited to use their guns, which hits a little too close to home. And there's an alarm clock that made me question what it means to be alive. This movie does not sugarcoat anything, and a lot is touched upon. Depression, schizophrenia, racism, watching a loved one slowly deteriorate, and most of all, when it comes to the main character, drug abuse. Everything about this movie works. The animation is phenomenal. The style is cute, yet very raw. It won't shy away from showing some pretty shocking scenes, and the story is paced well between all the different characters, and we see them all either living their lives or, in the case of the main characters, trying to escape it. This movie is tinged with hopelessness, the only happiness shown being the one that Dinky's parents receive by taking happy pills, or the joy of picking on the weak. But it still manages to show a little hope in the dark world. The world might be cruel in this movie, but not every character is. Small moments of hope and kindness saved this movie from being completely dismal. The friendships of the main cast and the love that Bird Boy and Dinky share make you think that maybe there's a chance for this world. Maybe there's a chance for hope to sprout anew. There's a lot more I could say about this movie, but I've kept it vague on purpose because I really want you all to go watch it for yourselves. It even has a really good English dub if subtitles aren't your thing. It's based on a comic by Alberto Vasquez called, it's called that. And I hope it gets translated one day because I would love to check it out. He also has another movie coming soon called Unicorn Wars, which looks like it's going to be a commentary on war and nationalism, told through the story of Care Bears fighting unicorns. Which is something I didn't know I wanted, but now I can't wait for it. And that's why I made this video. It's why I make all my videos. You always see people talking about how animation all looks the same, or where's the animation for me? And I want people to know it's out there. Maybe Hollywood won't serve it up to you on a silver platter, but if you're willing to put in the work and find these movies and shows, they are there. The world is such a big place, and more places besides Japan and America can make cartoons. Even in this video alone, I showed you works from England, Mexico, Spain, Belgium, and France. This stuff is out there, people, and if you want more of it, and for it to be more accessible, you have to put some skin in the game. Go out and see those one-night showings, buy those DVDs, and make the world know that animation is valid. It can change us, it can teach us, and sometimes, it can even scare us.
You watched it, you can't unwatch it.